What's up YouTube, it's Mike aka Plastic Life and I'm back with another action figure review, this time on the Medicom Toys MAFEX Poison Ivy. Medicom's Batman Hush MAFEX line is extremely popular amongst the action figure community, and Ivy is our latest Batman rogue from the storyline. Let's get her off the stand and see if MAFEX continues to knock it out of the park with the Hush line. Alright, here is Poison Ivy off the stand and in a neutral position. I really like the colors on her, bright orange reddish hair, with some lighter shades to help bring out the details. Her skin is a nice toothpaste green color. The leaves on her onesies are a different color than the material there, so that it makes it kind of pop out. There's some sculpted ivy throughout her hair, as well as on her hands. But I would have probably liked to see some more sculpted ivy throughout her body. That would have helped the figure kind of look a little bit less plain. Taking a closer look at the face, very beautiful, very reminiscent of Jim Lee's art style in the early 2000s. Very pretty features, but she still looks intimidating. Some dark green lipstick there to complete the overall look, and some sculpted ivy just on the sides of her head there, kind of bring out some of her powers there. You just look at the back of the figure and you could really see the really cool detail and the highlights in her hair to bring out the color. She has the leaves that continue all the way around her onesie. She has a little bit of cake going on, which is good. Just where the ankles meet the feet, that's a little bit ugly there. Just the way that it kind of loops over kind of gives her like really thick ankles. Doesn't look that good. The shoes came out really nice though. They are like flats, like women's flats. They have the leaves that go around the border. The bottom of the feet, because they're sculpted like a woman's shoe, there's not a lot of surface area to touch the ground, so sometimes she does have trouble standing up because this is not entirely flat, it's actually just curved in spots. Unfortunately, some of her hair has rubbed off onto the shoulder of my figure, and that's kind of a bummer there, so just be careful with that. Overall, this Poison Ivy figure looks pretty good, and I'm happy with it. Although when we compare it to the comics, she is kind of lacking in some areas. Ivy comes with a handful of accessories, so let's take a look at those. Ivy comes with one alternate head sculpt, and this head sculpt looks very, very similar to the head sculpt that's already on the figure, except she looks slightly less serious in this one, and her hair is more windswept to the side. But I would have liked to see a little bit, different sculpt there, maybe a more angry or a happier looking one, but they look very similar other than just kind of the eyebrow placement and maybe the mouth. Swapping out the heads is really straightforward. Pop the old one off, and then revealing your MAFEX ball peg there, and port the new one on, and there you have it. Ivy comes with 4 pairs of interchangeable hands. First we have our relaxed hands that are already on the figure, and they have sculpted detail as well as painted nails. You get a pair of fists in case you ever need Ivy to throw hands. You get a pair of stylized gripping hands. You get a pair of open palm hands. You also get a left hand to hold the stack of money that she comes with, and there's just a little groove in the stack of money there. You just kind of angle that in and port it in like so, and then you have Ivy holding a stack of cash. We get a briefcase with the ransom money that was stolen from Killer Croc by Catwoman. This briefcase does not open, but we do get an opened version of this briefcase with some money in it, and I mean, it looks pretty cheesy. The money looks kind of stupid, but yeah, whatever. We get the open version as well. We get a whole bunch of Ivy accessories that help her show off her powers. We get one for the neck, upper arms, upper thighs, and lower legs. You need to place the neck Ivy in an orientation so that you see these 2 leaves and then the one leaf pointing in the downwards, and then that will sit flush on her shoulders and neck, and you can just pop the head sculpt on and that will stay accordingly. For the arms, you can just remove the hands and then slide the mid or upper arm piece just over top, and then slide on the lower or the forearm attachment and port the hands back on. They're a little bit annoying because they do tend to fall off, but yeah, that's what they look like. You just do the same for the legs. The leg ones can be pulled apart and stretched out, just like so. So they have an easier time wrapping that around the legs, the upper legs. They do tend to fall off again, so they're kind of annoying. For the lower legs, you just pop the ankles off, like so. And then just kind of line that part up, slide that up onto the ankle, and just wrap that around. Port the ankle back in. These upper thigh ones just do not like to stay, but once you kind of have it all on there you go, looks like so. And when you finally manage to get it all together, you have Ivy with a whole bunch of Ivy on her. They look pretty cool. They're just a little bit annoying when you're posing around the figure. I would have loved to see some growths kind of moving away from the body. I think that would have been cool. She also comes with this display stand that has two attachments, and I believe one of them is for Superman and the other one is for Ivy, so you can essentially recreate the iconic artwork with Superman and Ivy. And I don't know, I haven't really figured this thing out yet, but I'm assuming that it goes something like this. Alright, getting into the articulation for Poison Ivy, her head can move up about this much with the head sculpt on due to the hair piece. She can look down approximately that much. Her hair is a little bit heavy, so it does tend to bring the head back. She can do a side inside and look almost all the way to the one side, but her hair does get in the way when doing that. We have a functioning butterfly joint with an arm that can go up about that much. It can go all the way around. We have some bicep swivel that goes all the way around. We have double jointed elbows that function about that much. We have a wrist joint that can move down and up, and then you can twist the peg around, and then you can move in and out. We have an upper and lower abdomen that is capable of producing that much flexion, about that much extension. You can rotate a little bit at the top, you can rotate a lot at the bottom, and it can bend side to side. The crotch piece is made out of a rubbery material, so you need to be careful that when you bend the figure that you're not pinching the rubber like so. You can get the rubber caught, especially on the back side, but you can get the rubber caught as well on the sides or on the front, and you don't want to warp that section. So just make sure you keep that in mind when bending the figure. The legs have a drop down method. You can lift the leg up quite high actually. As double jointed knees, there is some rotation in the upper thigh there. The ankles move up, down, and they pivot inward and outwards, and they rotate side to side as well. And there is some toe articulation that functions about that much. With that drop down, she can almost do the splits. Poison Ivy isn't really a particularly agile character, so I think the articulation is just right for this character. Alright, so let's get into some size comparisons now. Here is Batman and Superman from the Batman Hush line. Next to Catwoman and Huntress. Next to Nightwing. And next to Harley and Joker. And of course, when I need to, I can't find my Hush figure. If you prefer to mix and match your lines, here she is next to a Mezco Sovereign Knight Batman and a Mezco Two-Face. If you need some goons, you can use the Marvel Legends Tracksuit Mafia. So final thoughts on Poison Ivy. This is a really good Poison Ivy figure. If you're collecting the Batman Hush line, then this figure is a must. She scales well with other 6-inch figures, so you can mix and match, and she's got enough articulation to pose up nicely. You'll want to add her to your Batman Rogues collection, as she looks really good with all her effect pieces, especially if you have the Superman to go with it. If you found this review helpful, hit that thumbs up and subscribe buttons. Leave a comment below on whether or not you're picking up this poison ivy. Head on over to Instagram at plastic.life for more action figure pics. And always remember, at the end of the day, it's your collection. Just buy whatever makes you happy. I hope you'll catch my next videos. Take care.